Structure Deck Dark World, real creative, releases on December 2nd. This set revamps the original 2011 Gates of the Underworld structure deck to bring the fan-favorite Dark World archetype into the modern era. Let's break it down. Rainbow over King of Dark World can summon itself by bouncing a level 7 or lower Dark World, and if it's discarded you get to search a level 5 or higher Dark World, then summon a Dark World from deck to either field if it was discarded by an opponent's card effect. Yeah, they're still doing this. Genta discards itself to search Gates and can summon itself if it's banished. Pearl summons a Dark World from graveyard if it's discarded, then summons a Fiend from hand, grave, or banished if it was an opponent's card effect. Puppetry banishes 3 cards from the graveyard, then discards a Fiend and can banish itself to add back a banished Fiend. Archives discards a Dark World to boost all your Dark World's attack, and if a Fiend is discarded, you can discard 1 to draw 2. Punishment negates summons and protects Dark Worlds, and Accession is a fusion spell that banishes from field or graveyard and can only use cards from hand to summon a Dark World fusion, but those materials are treated as being discarded. Lastly, Grapha Dragon Overlord of Dark Worlds, a fusion of Grapha and a Dark that can replace a monster effect or normal spell or trap effect with the effect of making you discard 1 card. And when it dies, it floats into Grapha, and you fucking idiot, you already know this effect also discards. The standout among these cards for Dark World decks is Genta, finally giving them the ability to search Gates as well as immediately set up for its effect, and even plus off of it by Genta returning to the field. Furthermore, the only once per turn on Genta is for the ability to summon it, meaning you can use the search effect as many times as you have copies of Gates, which you can exploit by bouncing the copy of Genta you summon back from banished using Grapha or Rainbow. Alongside Archives, this assists in Dark World's goal of deep drawing into every possible extender and combo piece they could possibly need. Rainbow gives you more search power and more ability to use the very powerful bounce to summon condition it copied off Grapha. Also, since it's level 8, you have easier access to rank 8s like Hope Harbinger and Giant Trainer. Pearl is notable for letting you loop Ceruli, which is famously your main method of triggering your Dark World's extra effects on turn 1, and is part of a hand loop combo with Silva. And then there's Fusion Grapha, the first ever Dark World monster to do something on board. And what a thing it does, not only being functionally negation for most types of effects, but also triggering your extra effects like Silva and Gold. Even just summoning it can be quite powerful, as Accession can trigger your summon effects on your turn to extend, or OG Grapha's pop effect during your opponent's turn for an interruption. So what's the catch? Our age-old friend, consistency. In order to make a deck like this function, you need to constantly be finding the right pieces at the right time. You always want a discard outlet and a good discard at all times. Each time you use a Danger or a Gates or Archives, you're firing off a slot machine hoping to get not only another Brow or Snow, but also another Danger or Gates, a series of consecutive jackpots so specific, you might have better odds holding up a winning lottery ticket to the sky and daring lightning to strike you. You can improve your odds by meticulously refining your ratios and thinking through every play before using your effects. So that means bad news for all my viewers, you have to be good at the game to play this deck. It's also in a pretty unique position right now to get dunked on by the current format, given the omnipresence of Bestials and Dweller keeping your graveyard offline. If you do manage to hit the right curve of draws and manage your effects correctly, the payoff can be quite powerful, letting you set up Grapha and a few other negates, which can protect your ability to resolve a Silva hand loop, or even something as powerful as a Neko main king to manually end your opponent's turn. And Grapha isn't just powerful in his own archetype, seeing how his material line is exploitable enough to splash in other decks such as Labyrinth, which can use Ghastly Glitch to mill Versago, and then Necrofusion to fuse Versago in any Labyrinth monster, both pieces being normal traps and therefore can be found with Lady. Okay, we got my jank homebrew out of the way, now we have to talk about Tier Lament. In the OCG, Grapha saw a large amount of play in Tier as a very easy to summon negate that can be made with any Tier in King of the Swamp that covers far more effects than Millennium Eyes, and has the added benefit of giving you the ability to discard a Tier or a Shizu, making your opponent's hand traps into extenders for you. Weird reprints this time around, Skill Drain and Tsuchinoko being the only really interesting ones. Nothing else really stands out as in need of another printing, and instead the cards present are solely in support of getting you started on building the deck. Maybe we didn't need the Vanillas or Latinum or the terrible Reborn spell, so sure, a few of these slots could have gone to better staples, but even so, with just 3 of the structure deck, you can make a decently competent control build with skill drains to let your high attack point free summons do all the work for you, and even the potential to do your big flashy fusion Grapha plays without needing much setup. If you want to build up from there into something competitive, there's lots of builds floating around right now, mostly focusing on making Grapha so you can discard either Silva or Neko main. I'm personally fond of the build posted by the Curry Bandits, using Melfi Caddy to search Neko main. If you want to cope less and listen to the advice of actual experts, twitch.tv/JoshuaSchmidt YGO is a hell of a drug. After Legend of the Crystal Beast so thoroughly lowered my expectations of the future of structure decks, I'm pleasantly surprised by this one. It introduces well thought out support for a deck that gives it serious rogue potential, has reprints that actively directly support the archetype, and even has influence on the best deck in the format in an interesting, non-overpowered way. This product is so good I forgot to run bits the whole video, so to send us off, here's a video of a monkey scratching itself. Also, I have a Patreon now. These videos take dozens of hours to produce, and have so far made $0. I have no delusions that this could ever be my full-time job, but it'd be nice to make it financially feasible to continue growing and improving as a content creator. This video went up 24 hours early to criminal tier patrons, and early access to everything you need to know will be available for as little as $5. And if you give me $100, I will read you all the Amazonas cards.